Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jack back at it again with another vlog. Welcome back to the VIP Action / KDM Culture PH channel. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I dislike about this car. If you're keeping up with the channel, on the last episode, we talked about the 5 things that I liked about this car. But on this specific episode, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I don't like so much about the car. So with that being said, stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright, welcome back, YouTube. So, like I mentioned earlier, today we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I don't like so much about this car. So let's go ahead and get started down the list. So the first thing that I don't like so much about this car would be, I would say that there's hardly any mods available for this car, or there's hardly any aftermarket support available for this car. For some reason, I'm not sure why, there's just not a whole lot available out there. And if you do want some, they're either fabricated or they're either, in my opinion, they're called rice mods, which is like garnish kits, the fake hood scoops, hood vents, that sort of a variation, which to me, honestly, in my opinion, belonged about 20 years ago. I mean, I do want mods, and I do want to make aesthetic enhancements to my vehicle, but I do want to go for a clean build as well. So with that being said, it is hard to get them in my country right here in the Philippines, but at the end of the day, I was able to secure some body kits that I liked. I was able to secure a front lip, some side skirts, an extended ducktail, and a roof spoiler. And all of those I mentioned, the body kits are all custom. Shout out to Verna Pilipinas for hooking me up and giving me the opportunity to get these kits. And for those, by the way, you guys are just gonna have to stay tuned. I got a big surprise for you when I get them hooked up to the car. I have them at the body shop getting, color matched. But that's going to be on the whole other episodes. But all of those are custom made, custom fiberglass fabricated, except for the roof spoiler that I mentioned. That one was actually from Korea. But other than that, I mean, these are just clean looking, side skirts, the extended ducktail, and the front lip, which are all custom. And I would want to say it's somewhat exclusive to the Verna PH members as well. So there is that little bit of exclusivity, so that makes it a little bit more special. It's not just something you can go out there and go buy from whoever, and for somebody else out there that maybe has 2 or 3 other copies of the same kind of body kits, and it's just it's a sought after mod, I would say, for this specific car that not a lot of people have an opportunity to get. So I was very blessed to be able to get that opportunity. And like I said, man, shout out to Verna PH for hooking it up. I already have all these parts. I actually ordered them last year, and I've just been holding on to them because I don't want to put them on my car yet, because the way my suspension is set up, it wouldn't be ideal for me to put them on, and I'm going to end up just scraping them or breaking them going in and out of my driveway. So until I get a little bit of further mods, I'll go ahead and slap them on, but I've already got them secured, which is a good thing. Alright guys, now for the second thing that I don't like so much about this car. You're probably wondering, why am I in the back seat? But that will explain why. The second thing that I don't like about this car is there's hardly any legroom in the back seat. Now, for a big, taller, chunky guy like me, I'm give or take about 6 foot 5'11". It's not very comfortable back here. If I can show you right here, it's about, I got the seat pushed all the way out to the front, and my legs are almost touching the front seat here. And it's just, I would say, for a grown man or a taller man like me, it's just not very comfortable, especially if you have to sit here for long periods of time. But luckily, I'm usually the driver. I'm usually in the front seat. But the downside to that is, since I'm usually in the front seat, I usually have my seat pushed all the way back. So whoever's behind me, they're probably not sitting very comfortable either. And another thing that I don't like about these back seats is, maybe it's just because I have the base model, but I have no access to the trunk. I can't fold down the seats and have access to the trunk. Or maybe that just comes with the the premium or the top of the line models. But since I do have a base model, these seats, they do not fold down over. I don't have access to the trunk. Alright, now for the third thing that I don't like so much about this car, I would have to say it's the fit and finish of the components, both on the inside and on the outside. Now, as far as on the outside, these cars, they usually generally have some bad bumper clips, both the front and the rear, so they come off real easily, and it's a pain in the ass to get them hooked up again. If they break, you have to replace them. Actually, mine are so badly damaged that I didn't even mind replacing them. I just went ahead and just kind of glued them on there, my bumper onto the side with some plastic welder, just like some JB weld, but for the front there. It's just something to hold the bumper in place without me having to manage with the clips or try to pull it on and off. So it's pretty sturdy, that's a good thing, but it's very weak on these cars. And on the inside, I believe the interior trim and the plastic is it's horrible. Like, I don't know if I can show you guys here, but these trims right here, believe it or not, this one has actually been repainted already to a silver color, but I'm actually still not very satisfied with the finish. So I might just end up getting these wrapped, and these chrome these trims. The chrome trims I've got on there is just added, so I can't blame it on that. But these things are like so loose, and it's just every time you hit a bumpy road or an uneven road, you're gonna end up hearing something, rattling back there, and you don't even know what the hell it is. It's very cheaply made. But then again, I mean, it is an economic car, so maybe I'm just nitpicking. But it's just, it could have been made a little bit better in my opinion. And, you're working with a budget car, stuff like that is, it comes with the territory. So you just gotta live with it. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky, but that's another thing that I don't like so much about this car is the interior, the plastic trim, and the stuff rattling inside the car when you hit speed bumps. And especially in the Philippines, you guys know how it is down here. The roads are crap. They are no bueno, and it's just, so you're gonna rattle the shit out of the inside of these plastic components, and eventually something's gonna come off or fall off. But luckily I haven't had that problem yet. It's just I hear things every now and then that is rattling back there that bothers me, so it's just a little bit of an annoyance. That's about it. But like I said, man, for being an economic car, you can't really complain. That's part of the territory. It comes with it, so hey, deal with it. Alright, so the fourth thing that I don't like so much about this car, I would have to say that it has cheap, just basic technology. I mean, for starters, there's no map lights. I mean, it is, like I said, my car is the base model, so that's why it probably doesn't have some of these stuff. But to me, certain things that should come standard with the car is not even available for this car. For instance, let's get started here. For the airbags, as you can see, there's no SRS airbags or no airbags logo here. And I don't even think don't even get started on the passenger side. I don't even think I have airbags on that side. But yeah, man, I mean, in some countries, this should be standard airbags. That's for safety. You know what I mean? Like, why do you guys cheap out on that, Hyundai? But here's another thing. The windows, like, it will go down automatically, but for some reason, you can't pull it back up automatically. Not even on the driver's side. I understand for the passengers, but I mean the driver's side, come on, like, how do you do it half-assed? You only go down automatically but not go up. So I mean, maybe, like I said, I'm just being nitpicky again, but that just sounds like something very basic that they could have done that doesn't take a whole lot of work. Or if they really try to cut down on expenses, I don't think it would have cut too much of it. You know what I mean? It's just, they were just being cheap, and it's just like, I mean, I'm surprised because back in Cali, man, even the older cars, like, yo, they all came with airbags, you know what I mean? Even the buckets, even the shitty cars, even the base models came with airbags. But like when I came down here, I was surprised by how much cost cutting they did with some of these cars. Like, I mean, I can understand if it was like a 70s or 80s car, but come on, this is a 2012 model. Like, yo, you don't have airbags? I get it, it's a base model, but come on, man, that's safety, you know what I mean? That should be a priority for all car makers out there that should have airbags, you know? And yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any front airbags. It doesn't have passenger airbags. I doubt it because I don't see any signs on there. They should have some sort of engraving or something that says airbag. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing doesn't have side airbags either, so I don't even want to get started on that. But you know, other than that, like I said, the windows, I'm being just nitpicky. The steering wheel controls, I have to add them on there manually. Maybe once again, maybe it's just because I have the base model, I have the cheap version, but it's like, damn, y'all really went super duper cheap on that, you know? So that's just another thing that I don't like so much about the car. At this point, I just sound like I'm ranting, but hey, I'm just keeping it 100 with you guys. I'm just letting you know how it is, what my personal opinions are, and yeah, that's it for number 4. Alright, and last but not the least, for number 5, I just want to say that this car is lacking in power. Now, this is a base model, I get that, I've said that many times. Compared to the diesel variant, because I have the gas variant. Now the diesel, I'm sure that has a lot more kick to it, has a lot more power, a lot more torque. But since I have the gas variant, it's a 1.4, and I think these cars came with about just a little shy of over 100 horsepower out of the factory. And with this car being 10 years old, I mean, probably less than 100 now, if I'm being honest with you. But, you know, don't get me wrong, hey, this car gets me from point A to point B in style, I might add. You know, it definitely doesn't look bad with the way I got it looking right now. But it's just, to me, third and fourth gear, it's like it's missing. It's like, even if I got my foot down to the floorboard, it doesn't have a lot of pickup. So, you know, getting on the highway could get a little bit tricky unless you want to bang on, you know, the first and second gear until you get up to 40 or 50, 60 kilometers an hour. But, you know, for economic driving, I mean, yeah, the third and fourth gear, it's like, it's almost, I don't want to say it's non-existent, but it's like, damn, there's no pull whatsoever. But, I mean, maybe it is because due to the age, you know, I haven't had the transmission fluid changed yet, so I'm planning on getting that done next time I get my maintenance. So hopefully I can take care of that. But yeah, I just noticed that on these cars, it's just like the third and fourth gear mostly doesn't have a lot of pickup. The first and second gear is fine. You can still feel a little bit of power there to get you up to speed. But yeah, third and fourth and fifth gear, those are just cruising speeds anyways. So I just want to say that, you know, I'm just letting this shit out. Like I said, I mean, I can't really complain. It is an economic car, and it gets me from point A to point B safely, and it hasn't given me any mechanical problems, you know, so far. So, you know, I'm still, you know, satisfied with this car. It's just maybe I'm just used to having high horsepower cars back at home when I had it when I was a little bit younger. But, you know, nowadays, I mean, with the traffic down here, I mean, you can't really mash on the gas pedal anyway too much. So you can't really use all that horsepower unless you're on the major highways. So, you know, I'm just saying my opinion about the things that I don't like so much about these cars. And yeah, I'm just being honest based on my personal experience. You guys can have a different experience as well. But, you know, just having ownership of this car, and you know, for a long time, or I wouldn't say a long time, but at least 5-6 years, you know, that I've gotten to know this car. Those are my you know, things that I noticed that weren't so good about the car. So with that being said, you guys, thanks for tuning in again for another episode. I appreciate you guys if you guys made it to the end of this video. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. If you enjoy this type of content, please hit that like button. And like I always tell you guys, man, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to support me. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys viewing. Thanks for your time. And like I always tell you, treat yourself. Don't treat yourself. It's your boy Jack, and I'm out.
Waking up anew.